Hey Fred, I do heat training probably twice a week on average for about an hour each session. Maybe a long one I'll do an hour 15, hour 20 minutes. So not too much, but over time it adds up and feels like I get pretty much maximize the adaptations. Huh, a dropout. Haven't had a dropout in a while. That was weird. Yeah, I'm wearing a sauna suit. It's just a cheap, basic sauna suit I got online. I'd love to get one of the nicer, fancier ones, but for now this works pretty well. It gets my core temperature super high without me having to do super high power or super huge effort. The target core temperature for these workouts is usually 38.5 to 39 degrees Celsius, or about, I think the conversion is about 101 to 102 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's what you can see on the top left of the screen right now is the core temperature in degrees Fahrenheit. So that'll come up to between 101 and 102. It'll probably take 15 or 20 minutes to get there, just riding zone 1, zone 2 power. And then I'll hold that until I'm about an hour into the ride. heat training has a ton of different benefits. The most obvious one is that it helps you perform better in the heat or in high humidity environments, but it also just helps with your overall fitness. Your overall aerobic fitness will increase. Your ability to ride zone 2, zone 3, zone 4, those kinds of efforts it definitely helps with. And then your body is better at distributing heat, so you'll be quicker to start sweating. I don't know if you'll sweat more, but you might a little bit, but it'll definitely help with cooling. So it really helps all around. Your overall heart rate will come down, your exercising heart rate. So you'll notice that in your training once you've done heat training for a couple of weeks. There's a reason that the World Tour pros do heat training year round, because it helps with everything, not just the hot weather races. The hot dog bowl, I still haven't tried it. Maybe this Sunday. Maybe on Sunday I can hop over to Costco, get a fresh hot dog, and cook that up. The Chick-fil-A sauce is super good too. I have a sauna here as well. You can actually see it right behind me. I love the sauna, mentally and physically. There's so many benefits to that. Yeah, heat training is definitely uncomfortable, but it's way more uncomfortable at the beginning when you're not used to it yet, when you're not adapted at all. So I always recommend taking it easier when you're first starting heat training. Aim for a lower core body temperature, aim for shorter duration heat training session. I would only do once or twice a week rather than 3 or 4 times. And then as you get more and more adapted, it definitely becomes a little bit easier. It doesn't seem as painful. That's my experience with it for sure. The sauna alone, it definitely has benefits for training and for overall health. I really believe in kind of regular sauna use for almost everyone. In terms of training and the potential training effects, it's definitely not as effective as active heat training. So active heat training would be heat training while exercising. So like today, like right now, I'm riding and heat training. Whereas passive heat training would be just sitting in a sauna, not doing anything. You're still overheated, but you're not exercising your body or muscles. So active heat training, from everything I've read and experienced personally, active heat training is definitely more effective, but passive heat training can definitely still work. And you can probably do it more often as well. I would never do active heat training 5 or 6 times a week year round, but the sauna you could do almost every day if you really wanted to. It's definitely getting hot now. 15 minutes in, you can see the core temperature coming up over 100 degrees now. Does anyone know if there's any data about heat training and getting sick? Like, I wonder if there's a negative correlation between heat training and how often you would get sick, because you're exercising your core temperature up to a flu-like level. Like, if you took your temperature and it was 102, you would say you have a fever. But with heat training, that's the goal. So I wonder if it makes your body more resilient in that way. I'm not really sure. If someone knows, put it in the comments. I have no idea. Last time I was sick, I want to say, I've been, knock on wood, I've been pretty good so far this year, especially this fall and winter. I haven't gotten sick for a while. I'm trying to remember if I got sick after my honeymoon. I don't think so. A lot of people were getting sick at that time. I think I was actually okay. So it was before that, so probably 4 or 5 months, I think. Somewhere around there. Probably the easiest part of the climb. The whole second half is super steep. You can see the red sections up ahead. I've been heat training for at least a year now, so it's been a long time, so that's probably why it's not as painful for me anymore. I'm very used to it, very adapted to it. So it definitely takes some time. At the beginning, when I first got heat adapted, I was doing it 4 or 5 times a week for maybe 2 or 3 weeks. And that's what I did to try to maximize the adaptation right away so I could get to a maintenance phase and just do it twice a week from there on out. Seems to be working very well. The typical protocol for active heat training for myself would be about an hour of heat training, so probably 40 to 45 minutes in the actual heat training zone, because it takes probably a 15 or 20 minute warm up to get your core temperature there. And then I always do a 5 or 10 minute cool down, try to spin the legs, get that core temperature down a bit, maybe turn on the fan. The longest heat training session I've done was about an hour and a half, and that was really long. That was quite the overall training load for that session, even though the average power is probably low zone 2, high zone 1. It was maybe 220 watts, but my heart rate was zone 2, zone 3 for an hour and a half. So I would do these sessions twice a week on average for the active heat training. And then the sauna, maybe I do it 2 additional days on top of those 2 active heat training sessions. We're about to get to the very steep section of the climb. It'll be like that all the way to the top, around 10% average. That's a very good question. I don't really have a very specific routine on how I kind of moderate the power throughout the session. I usually tend to keep it pretty steady. I know some riders, they gradually decrease their power to hold their heart rate and RPE and core temperature in the same spot. I do that a little bit, but I wouldn't say I'm super intentional with that. Otherwise I would ride on erg mode with a heat training workout. I've tried that before. I kind of prefer just to feel it out during the session. I can kind of feel when I'm getting tired and then bring the power down from there. Like right now, 240 watts is getting pretty hard. At the beginning of the ride, it was super easy, but I can really feel it now. I'll probably bring the power down even more over the next 10-15 minutes. I use the sensor that's called Core, the Core body temp sensor. I've had it for a while, for probably a year or two now, probably closer to 2 years. And yeah, it's the original one, not the Core 2. I would love to try that one, but the first one still works super well. Battery life is really good. The accuracy hasn't changed. So I really like it. It's so easy to use too, to just put it on a heart rate strap and use it every day. Heart rate's getting really high now. Definitely harder. It's amazing, I have less than 5K to go on this climb, but we're talking about 26 more minutes. It's a long way. Nice, awesome. I appreciate it. Enjoy the Core 2 sensor and let me know what you think of it too. Let me know if it's pretty easy to use right away. For me, there was a little bit of a learning curve, but that's kind of with anything new, a new piece of data for sports science. I really enjoyed it once I got the hang of it. At the moment, I don't think I get any commission from those. I just enjoy the core sensor. That's the truth. Nice. Yeah, it's a really good piece of equipment. I also like that it doesn't have a subscription service like so many wearables nowadays. You just pay for it up front and then you can use it forever with the app and all the data and everything. I like that a lot. I definitely prefer those instead of the subscriptions for the wearables. But yeah, I really enjoy it. Thank you, I appreciate it. For a hot dog bowl. Thank you, I'll have one this weekend. After SRC, I think that'll be the perfect recovery fuel. A stimulus with a higher RPM. I don't know actually, for heat training, if the stimulus would be any different. If you know of any research or any data or like an interview or a quote, I would love to learn more about that. The cadence for me It's mostly because I'm getting tired that the cadence comes down. I can do a higher cadence. Here, I can try. But then the heart rate comes up, feels a little bit harder. So, mostly personal preference for the cadence. But if there's a better stimulus with higher RPM, I would love to know. Yeah, Lucas, that's SRC for you. I think I definitely value missing one qualifier a month just to sleep in, just take a break. To do it every single weekend is crazy. It's so hard. It requires a very special mind and lifestyle, especially for the people in the US racing between midnight and 5 a.m. Turkey hot dogs are so bad. Do you mean they're really good? Like that kind of bad, or they're actually bad? I think the ones at Costco are beef and whatever else is in there. I'll try those. Yeah, definitely, Fred. I agree. Core temperature really getting up there now. You can see it reflected in the heart rate. The power's coming down and the heart rate's slowly going up, which means the sauna suit works really well. That feather is nice on the steep sections. Here, I'll try to get the cadence up over 90 for a minute or two. It's getting dark now. Yeah, I agree. It's a different beast when it's earlier than 5 a.m. It's just like you have to wake up so early. You have to be careful with the caffeine, the fueling, timing of the carbs and everything. It's really hard to dial it in, but once I got into a routine, it definitely became a lot easier. And I could hit my normal numbers at 5 a.m. Yes, I am planning on racing the endurance climb on Sunday. I'm in Cat 1 now, so it'll be probably a 10-minute all-out effort to start the race. How about you, Jamie? Are you racing an endurance climb? Should be a good one for you, I would think. Yeah, the treasure hunt, I believe they are actually giving out Bitcoin. I don't really understand how it works, but I mean, they laid out the rules pretty specifically, so that helps a lot. But should be interesting. I don't know who's gonna win it, or if it's just random or what. Yeah. What's up, KD? I'm doing pretty good. How are you? I'm suffering. It's really hot. Still got 17 minutes to go on this climb. Yeah, Jamie, I agree. Like it's interesting to have it in 7 ramps like that. It's like 5-minute recoveries in between 10 to 12-minute FTP efforts. That's more my style, but yeah, some guys prefer the 1 to 2 hours steady, basically like a time trial. Heart rate's really coming up. I think I'm gonna turn the fan on for a couple minutes. The intensity is a bit too high right now. Yeah, I remember that from the last time we raced endurance climb. It was, yeah, 450, 500 watts for the last minute. Like people going for the KOM segments. Super hard. It's only 2.4K to go, but it feels like forever. I'm gonna try that higher cadence for a bit. That's true. I do think about that every once in a while. I remember watching that stage live, second by second. It was crazy. I was so sad. So sad for him. Wanted him to win. Almost there. 2K to go. I'll just tell myself I'm almost there. Josh Harris riding tomorrow. He's riding on Saturday morning. Good to see you, Josh. Yeah, it's the fan. I had to turn on the fan. I was really suffering, and I don't want to go that hard today. With SRC so close, I'd rather take it a little bit easier. If this session was on a Wednesday maybe, or a Thursday, I could do a little bit more, have time to recover before SRC. the fan off when you get to the chicane. Do the last probably 5 minutes without the fan. It's interesting how when I turn the fan on, the heart rate goes down a little bit, but the core temperature keeps going up very, very slowly, but it's still going up. That's a great question, Lucas. I think it takes a lot of practicing and trying different things to figure out what works best for you. I know that for me personally, I always perform best with a little bit of fatigue. So if I'm super, super fresh, I've never had one of my best performances. I have had some great performances when I should have been tired. If I had 3 hours hard session the day before a race, and now hit some of my best numbers. So it's a little weird. You gotta practice, try different things. But that's what works for me. But I know plenty of guys who, when they haven't ridden for a week, that's when they're at their best. It's hilarious to me, because I'll feel awful if I do that. Fan's off now. Heart rate will come up. How about you, Lucas? Which do you prefer? Oh, I see. Yeah, a little bit of fatigue. It's very interesting how that works. I don't know what all the reasons are for that. Sometimes physical, sometimes mental. And your strengths and weaknesses for sure. Yeah, Jamie, sounds like we're the same way. Really suffering now. Almost there. Less than 1K to go. That's very interesting, Lucas. Yeah. So you've done well with a super high amount of fatigue. That's very interesting. Was that races every day or one rest day per week? That's really interesting, Lucas. Yeah, I would wonder about your weekly schedule and why you haven't been able to hit those numbers, especially at a young age. You should be able to progress for sure. Every year, almost every month. That's amazing, guys. When I say fatigue, I mean like 1 day of fatigue, maybe 2. Sounds like you guys are talking about a week plus. It seems like the finish is right there, but it says 2.5 more minutes. I should have taken my hat off. I didn't even think of that. Steepest part of the whole climb. Brutal. Right at the end. That sounds good, Lucas. I would look at the balance between intensity, high intensity and low intensity. If you haven't quite hit your PRs, I would look at that versus made it. Temperature is almost at 102. Very, very hot now. Time to try to cool down. Thanks, Jamie. Good to see you again today. Good luck in SRC. Pace yourself well, don't give up. Lots of guys blow up and give up in the second half. so interesting how fast the heart rate comes down, the RPE comes down, power comes down, and the core temperature just stays elevated for a while. Like I've noticed if I try to get off the bike after heat training and take a shower right away, I'll still be sweating for 15 minutes. So then I'm just either gross or I need to shower again. But if I wait, I usually go and sit in my sauna because I'm just dripping sweat. So I just go sit in the sauna with it turned off for about 15 minutes, and then I'll fully stop sweating. Then I can go take a cold shower. Pretty much, yeah. It's interesting. The heat training kind of has this really delayed effect, which I guess it's kind of the opposite of the beginning of the session where you're riding, same power, your heart rate gets up there a little bit, but for 15 minutes, your core temperature isn't in the heat training zone. It's still below it. So I guess it kind of catches up and then goes past the finish. I'll probably just ride to the bottom of this descent and then call it there. Thanks, Lucas. You too. Enjoy the weekend. Good luck in any races that you do, especially SRC on endurance plan. Good luck. Still going up. That's really interesting. You can see the power has been super low for a while, and the heart rate you can see at the bottom of the screen, the heart rate has come down a lot. Core temperature still went up just a little bit. good point. Yeah, with Jonas Abrahamsson, he does a lot of very unique intervals, like a lot of unique training that I don't really see many other pro runners doing. Like instead of zone 2, I mean, he'll do 10 by 10 minutes high zone 2, which for him it's got to be low zone 3. I mean, he's doing 375, 380 watts, and his heart rate is in the mid 150s. I mean, maybe that's the fatigue, maybe that is his zone 1, I'm not really sure. But it's super, super impressive. But yeah, with the cadences, I know he also does a lot of low cadence as well. Sometimes he'll do those same intervals, 10 minutes LT1 at 50 RPM, 45 to 50 RPM. And then he'll do the other intervals at, like you said, 95 plus. So I think he's probably just training all the cadences. I don't know if there's one that's definitely more effective than the others. I think they're all effective if you use them in the right dose. So that's kind of what I do with my training as well. I try not to do too much out of the saddle at the same cadence. I try to stay in the saddle and train that a little bit, especially with zone 2, zone 3, maybe low zone 4 intervals and the low cadence torque stuff. Great question though. That's all for today. I'll be back tomorrow for some openers for SRC. I will not have the sauna suit on, so I should feel a lot better. Thanks for watching. See you next time.